Hello, welcome to the Well, January 15th and honoring Martin Luther King today. So let's pause and feel into something in your life that you're grateful for. Ooh, anchor that gratitude and let's open up to what the reading has in store for us today. Such a beautiful reading as usual, and just really, appreciating your readings every week, Angela.
Thank you. We're going to focus on endings this week, on closure and transitioning into what comes next. And we start off with death and rebirth. This is darkness to light. And one of the key things about this is whether this is an ending that you're imposing on your own path and saying, I'm done with this, I'm going to close that out, or if it's something sudden that comes without your choice. It still can have the same sort of spiritual impact if you approach it as, yes, it's a loss, yes, it's an ending, and a new beginning comes from that, right? It's death and rebirth. So we get afraid hearing of endings or loss or the heartache or whatever, but it's also for a purpose to strengthen us spiritually and strengthen our heart so that we can go forward.
By the way, what are the animals that she has with her? Are those animals?
They're Black Panthers.
Black Panthers.
And notice, like, they're in the black and she's in the white.
Absolutely.
Darkness to light, and they're there protecting her as she's looking for her next direction. She seems to be holding, that looks like an antler she has in her hand right here. Maybe. But I'm not sure. Anyway, the light leading forward.
Yeah.
And then from there I pulled rise, and this is literally rising from the ashes, or taking what's left after this ending, after this closure, and rebuilding. It's also kind of representing an awakening, right? The seeing the light after the darkness, after the ending, and sort of symbolic that whatever that was, if this death was a source of heartache, it's in your past, and you can realign and rebuild, sort of like a attention to your own personal development to go forward. This is after the closure, after the ashes. And then I got spaciousness, and this is really looking ahead into the open field, the openness that's ahead, the sort of blank slate, square one. What do I, I've ended this. These things have been released from my experience, and now what? And what this card is guiding is to really fill that space with the things that truly bring you joy, with the things that you have enthusiasm for, with what you're inspired by. Instead of the old paradigm, I ended, like, just say this is referring to a job. I quit that job, I put it behind, I didn't want it, and now let me go look for the next job that I'm going to end up not wanting and quitting, right? Instead of, what fills my bucket? Where am I inspired? Let me go in that direction, right? And create from there. And then I got breakthrough. So now I was saying earlier in the group how it would have made sense to me, like, but readings don't always make sense in the brain kind of way. If this started out with death and rebirth and ended up with a breakthrough, it take you through a path, and then you go, I know. But this breakthrough comes mid-reading. It's kind of like to remind you that along your path of creation, you'll have many little breakthroughs. You'll have little signals that draw you in that direction. You'll have ideas that come through. You'll have people that are surrounding you, that are helping push you forward on your path. And those breakthroughs, those little breakthroughs, aren't to be ignored or sort of disqualified just because they're not major, right? The little breakthroughs are kind of the the threads in the whole tapestry, and they're needed in order to continue building that picture that you're creating. And after the breakthrough card, I got awareness. So this is now even more clarity. The veil is lifting. I'm able to take with this space that's been left after this closure, whatever that was, and really start to see now my path forward. I see the steps. I see where I want to head, how I want to show up in that. And then I got moment to moment, of course, reminding us always to stay on that boulder, on that current boulder, until it's time to move to the next one. I've been hearing myself a lot kind of just say, especially right now, I'm extremely busy, and kind of telling myself, just slow down. There's no real rush, although deadlines make it feel rushy, and it's true. But the more you let the story start to whirl around in your head, like, I'm not going to make it, and this message is so for me. It's less of a you get less done, right? Instead of just slow it down. I know a few months back, one of my key words for myself was deliberation. Be deliberate about everything you do. And yeah, that's good advice, especially on a path that you're creating, because you could miss some things if you're just blowing by all the details. So, and then I got intention. So this is moving from moment to moment. Well, we had the clarity, the awareness card. Make sure to move in each moment and stay present. And now you get to gather all that energy and really focus your intention on where you're headed. It's the energy is coming through the crown and out of the heart. So this is a heart-led journey. This is a heart-led creation that you are embarking on. And, most importantly is that your decisions and the people you surround yourself with and the plans that you make are from your purest of intentions, not from, oh, so-and-so would love it if I did this or whatever. This is for you. Like, the path is for you, and others will end up benefiting no matter what, as long as you're focused on what's right for you. And then from there, so we've built up all this ability to, rest in presence, clean up the past, keep ourselves open to the future, and get focused on what that is. And now it's time for action. I got sacred action. This is decisive focus. Let go of any hesitation that you've had about this thing that you want to move toward, and start doing it, right? Take the action, get moving. And because it says sacred action, we know that action that you embark on has been prepared through all these spiritual steps that we've taken in this reading, right? Especially that of leading with your heart and moving forward with that intention.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you. So let's pause and be with whatever is opened up for you from this reading. And I invite everyone to take a breath in. Just feel yourself connecting with the earth, getting grounded. And just like that beautiful intention card, imagine light coming down through your crown, infusing your whole body. And then that light coming out of your heart, connecting with the universe. Just take a moment to be with whatever intention is rising, just like the rising card is rising up in you, that will bring your journey forward this week. Perhaps it's distilled into a word. For me, it's trust, or a mantra. I am a person who can trust. And just take a moment to anchor that intention. Write it down, anchor it in your being, and then offer it up for divine collaboration and support. All right, and let's go into the how. These readings are kind of like, the first part is the what, and the second part is the how.
Oh, or yeah, what next? Yeah.
Yeah.
So we ended with that sacred action, that decisive action, decisive focus. And decisive focus, of course, comes from our own instinct. We pulled the wolf. This is just more affirmation or confirmation to trust your own guidance
Mm.
at all times. We need the contribution and the help from others,
Mhm.
but always still be guided by our own light, by our own intentions.
Yeah, and I just
We're,
realized, I'm
we're
sorry to interrupt.
sometimes, yeah,
I just realized there was the panther that came, the two panthers came in at the beginning, and then the sacred action, there was a lion or a tiger on her head.
yeah, it looks like a cheetah.
A cheetah. Okay,
Cheetah.
amazing. A
Yeah.
cheetah, right. And then now the wolf is coming through. There's a lot of animal guidance coming through this reading today. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead. I
I
just
love
wanted to.
that though. I love to choose decks that incorporate, the animals or the earth or elements because, they're, I don't know, it's almost like they've sort of always been there, and we can always find guidance from the animal world and from nature. And sometimes we skip over that because we think all the answers are in our brain, and it's not true, right? And we can get more in touch with our spiritual self in these ways by staying connected to the animal kingdom. I do love that. So yeah, follow our instincts, follow what's right for us in the pursuit of this next phase that we're building. Then I got Ivy, and this is reminding you not to forget those around you, to deepen those connections, how, the ivy will grow and infiltrate everything. It grows into other plants and starts to create community with them, even though it's not of its own species. It'll wind up a tree if it wants to stay, or, up your house or whatever. Ivy is a connective energy and, deepened connections. And then it also kind of reminds us of our adaptability, of our ability to always sort of merge into other energies and morph with them, still guided by our own, but also to incorporate other elements along the way. So I love that. It reminds us, you're never alone, really. The connection to your higher self as well and to spirit. Then I got another card of focus. So, I thought of this since we read it in the group, that if you do work with crystals, polish them up, clean them up, cleanse them, and start to use them again. Maybe, hold them in your hand, during the day while you're working. Find whatever helps you to focus. If you hold them during your meditations or whatever, but also just in general, keep your focus sharp on your path ahead. And at the same time, keep your dreams alive. So keep your focus sharp, but also use that sort of dreamy quality to get our inspired ideas. And this is specifically talking about those moments right before you fall asleep and right before you fully awake. And that's, I call those spirit moments. And it's where your energy is most open and receptive to ideas or thoughts or guidances that come through. And like I said in the group, I've heard voices in my ear sometimes, like right before waking up, that say, go now, or it's time, or things are changing, or whatever. Like, it's really wild. Not every day. It's not like I always hear voices, but they come through. And it's usually in the time that I need the message the most. And that leads us to angelic assistance. And this is knowing that divine guidance and that support, even though we talked about creating, connections in our community or with those that we are tied to or whatever, but this is also reminding us that we're always connected, right, to the spirit world. And there's always going to be, it's just a calling to look for the signs as they come. Listen, look, stay on the lookout for any little signs that help you along your path. And then I got anticipation. This is the point where the work that you've done and the preparation you've done is going to pay off. Like, you can feel it now. I see my goal clearly now. And now you're excited. You can't wait. Like the crow, he can't wait for all the diners to come and eat and leave their crumbs because, hey, he knows what's coming.
The
and
banquet.
it's right. And then just a second to the last card here I got is receptivity, another reminder to remain open. This is coming right under the crystals card. So I'm feeling like even with a sharpened focus, still remained open for something new or something different than what you're actually seeing. You know, remain open for other things to come through. So now you're working in this sort of give and take vibration of, you know, I'm a human being, and I have plans and I have ideas and I can see them clearly, and at the same time I'm being guided by this unseen energy that's always there guiding me, and it's kind of going back and forth between the two, right? Stay moment to moment and now take action, and then pull back and listen to your dreams and then focus on it, and you know, so it's really a kind of a dance with spirit, which you are mastering, my dear one. This is the perfect ending to this, because even if it feels like you're not mastering this stuff, the willingness to hear it and the willingness to, you know, take a couple steps and fail and then pull back and then realign and go again, that's mastery too, because that is sort of, you know, just not falling into these sort of rote older mechanisms and plans. Like, I have to have an outline, I have to plan this out with my brain. Yeah, but there's so much more going on to propel you forward, that's unseen, that spiritual force that you can incorporate into your journey. And it helps you feel more aligned with your purpose and more confident, right? That you're on the right path. The more these little things show up, like, where was that card? The breakthrough card. The more those little signs show up, the more, you know, validation it is that you're on the right path. So very good.
Thank you. Yeah, and I wonder if in a minute you could share, you spoke about hearing the voices like in the morning and in the evening. And I just wonder if you can elaborate on that just a little bit, because I think hearing our intuitive voice come through is a very different experience than what I think people tend to think of as hearing voices. Like, you know, people have a lot of stigma around like hearing voices. Are you saying like, you know, whatever they may make that mean? But when we are attuned to our intuition and our intuitive voice is speaking to us, it often comes through like a hunch or like a deep knowing, but it can come through, like you said, like even hearing something. So I just wonder if you could just speak a little bit about that, just to help people like as they're coming into their own intuitive gifts.
Yeah, for sure. The first thing is that I noticed, because there was this one time, like a few years ago, the first time I really ever recall this happening, because typically my intuition is clairsentient. It's a feeling, it's a knowing, or claircognizant. It's both, but it's either I feel this and I know it. I don't always get, I'm not clairaudient, right? I don't hear
Or
guidance
see voyant.
or voyant. I don't, sometimes I'll see imagery, but I really don't ever hear. And when the first time I experienced this, it said, big change coming. Clearly, those words were like someone was talking in my ear. I wasn't quite awake yet. Big change coming. And that woke me up all the way. I was like, whoa. And I'm still trying to recall it. I'm pretty sure it was not my voice. You know how you hear that voice in your head and it's yours. But I'm not positive. But oh yeah, it didn't frighten me at all. I was like, oh, good. Good, big change coming. And now I think what happens is, since I had that experience, which was new at the time, now if I hear words or if I hear guidance, it is in my own voice. It's so funny how I took whatever that was, wherever that was coming from, and I incorporated it into, okay, I'm willing, you know, to hear this more. And now I'll hear it in my own, in that voice that talks to me in my head. But yeah, for sure, it's not hearing things, it's guidance, and it comes through in different ways, right? For all of us.
Yeah.
And the clarity that came through after I got that message, was like, and not only the clarity, but the excitement and the motivation that I got from big change coming. It was crazy. And there was a year of a lot of changes for me. But so I couldn't really tell which change it was talking about. But definitely,
Awesome.
I
Thank
think if
you.
we're all as open as we can be, we
Mhm.
all carry the sense of intuition. We all do. And it gets strengthened in different ways. Like I said, for me, it's that feeling and that knowing. I just
Mhm.
know what to say. When I'm doing a reading, I'm not choosing my words per se as much as they're being spoken, like through the energy that's coming through me. So like I don't remember readings a lot because I'm just in the moment in the card. So yeah.
Mhm.
But
Awesome.
yeah,
Thank
the
you.
voices thing isn't something to be afraid of at all. It's actually trusting. Um
Well, yeah, and it's learning to
it's pretty
discern.
fun.
Learning to discern.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. All right. Well, I hope everyone has an amazing week and see you soon. Awesome. Thank you.